Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be doing a setup guide for RPCSX, the PS3 emulator on Android. We need to start off today with a huge disclaimer. RPCSX and PS3 emulation on Android is still in its very early days. This is all alpha. Things don't work, things will break, you will have crashes, not all games will work, all that sort of thing. But there's enough of you out there that want this, so I figure I would do a quick video on how to set it all up for you to test, and we're only going to be using an Android device for the entire video. You won't need a PC at all. This is all going to be native Android, so it's the right way to do things. Now I'm using an AYN Odin 2 Portal for today's video. It is a pretty hefty Android handheld device, and it runs the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. Lower end devices are going to have a bad time doing any PS3 emulation currently, as a quick heads up. Alright, so the very first thing you're going to need to do is get some actual PS3 games. For the most part, you're going to want to look for decrypted ISOs, which will cover a lot of disk-based games, or there are PKG files with their corresponding RAP or RAP files, which cover usually digital games, but folders also work too, if you happen to have them in folders. So you have three different ways, and I'm going to show you the process for all three. But as for finding the actual games, the ROMs GitHub is a great resource, and ROMs Fun is good too. Since all of these get installed to your internal storage on your device, you can just keep them in your downloads folder. No real reason to organize them, because you can delete them after you install them to RPCSX. Okay, so once you have at least one game to start with today, we can go ahead and start by downloading RPCSX, which is right off of the GitHub. The latest release as of today's video is 2025-04-25, but they move very quickly. So there is likely to be a new release pretty quickly after today, maybe even before this video goes up, so just grab whatever is newest. Just click the APK in the latest release to download it, then open it and install it. Once you're inside of RPCSX, the very first thing we need to do is add the PS3 firmware, or nothing's gonna work. All links are in the description for today's video, but head to the official PlayStation website's PS3 System Software section, scroll down to How to Update PS3 System Software, and choose Update Using a Computer. Select Download PS3 Update, and you might need to tap and hold and then click New Tab to get the download to start, if it just doesn't start regularly by tapping it. It's a little bit weird. Head back into RPCSX when the download is done, and click the three lines top left, and then tap on Firmware None. Search for the PS3 updat.pup file that we just downloaded and select it. RPCSX will install the firmware, and it'll take a bit of time. Once that's all done, we can now go ahead and install some games. And I mentioned it before, but you can have decrypted ISOs, PKG/RAP formatted files, or actual folders, which I think they're called JB folders, if I'm not mistaken. The process for all three of these is basically the same. From the home screen on RPCSX, click the plus icon in the bottom right, and select the very first icon. It's the file icon. For PKG and RAP files, go ahead and navigate to your PKG file for the game that you want to add, and then select it. It'll take some time to install the game. Then try opening the game, choose your RAP file, and it'll install that. For ISOs, it's actually a lot easier. After clicking the plus icon and then the file icon, navigate to your ISO for the game that you want to add, and then select it. Then it'll install it, and you'll have to wait for that to be finished. For folders, it's also very easy. After clicking the plus icon, you want to click the folder icon, navigate to the folder for the game that you want to add, and then select it. Once again, it'll install it, and then you're good to go. That's pretty much it for all three methods. They'll install, and then you're ready to go when they're done, but first we need to set up our controls. Head to the three lines in the top left from the RPCSX home screen, and then head to Settings and Controls. Scroll down and you'll see Key Mappings. Go ahead and map the controls to your device by selecting them and then pushing the right button on your handheld or controller that corresponds to what you're looking to do. Once that's all done, head back out and this time go to Advanced Settings above. There's a lot here, but head into Video and then scroll all the way down to the bottom and into Performance Overlay. Now, if you'd like, you can enable the performance overlay to show up in-game to check your frame rate, how well the game is playing, and so on. If that's something you want to do, I would check the first 3 checkboxes and then leave it. Lastly, RPCSX has custom driver support. For those of you with Snapdragon processors, that means that we can use custom drivers. There is a GitHub repository with a whole bunch of custom drivers, depending on your GPU and everything. For the Odin 2 portal, I can't say what the best driver is. I have been using version 8.05 with varying degrees of success, but some games work with no custom driver at all, and then some games work with a custom driver. So it's kind of in a testing phase. You have to test both. But to install a custom driver, in Settings, Custom GPU Driver, click the plus icon and navigate to the zipped driver that you have and select it. Then just make sure to actually select your driver to use it. That is really it settings-wise. You can now head back to your home screen, click a game, and launch it. The first time that you launch it, it'll have to do a lot of compiling, so be patient. Once you're in-game, you're going to see that there's on-screen touch controls, and I haven't found a permanent way to disabling these besides tapping the controller icon in the bottom right to hide them. I would actually suggest doing it this way because if you unhide those controls, you can click the RPCSX icon in the top middle and you'll get an in-game menu for RPCSX, which is useful. Now, this would be useful if it was actually working. Currently, it doesn't seem like you can actually save your changes or I'm doing something wrong. So maybe it's something that'll be applicable in the future that you can use, but either way, that's how you get to it. You can also exit via this menu, but I've had limited success doing so. Usually just crashes the app and then I have to swipe it away and come back. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're curious where RPCSX saves all of the data, your saves, all of that sort of thing, this is going to be device dependent as newer Android devices without root won't allow you to access the Android data storage, but if you head into the internal storage on your device, go into the Android folder, Data, net.rpcsx, Files, and then finally the Config folder, you're going to see a whole bunch of folders here. And if you're familiar at all with RPCS3 on Windows, it is basically the same. So your saves are in the dev_hdd0 game folder. Then, if you head back to the config folder, there is a patches folder if you ever want to manually add game patches, but they don't seem to work currently, so this is a future thing. Lastly, if you head into the config games folder, you can see your disk-based games are here that have been installed, as well as any folder games that you installed earlier will be here as well. That should be just about it for today. We went over everything and anything that I could personally think of, and you should now be able to do anything that you want in RPCSX using today's guide and the different timestamps. Now, like I said before, it is still very early and alpha. Expect a lot of issues, a lot of crashes, and a lot of games that won't work, but this should get you to at least a testing place if you want to play around. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro gaming. Support me on Patreon if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.